A million subscribers. That's a lot of you guys. Thank you, first of all. You made the right choice in subscribing to this channel. I figured what I could I do for 1 million subscriber special, and another TFT video didn't seem that exciting. What I will instead do is maybe give you guys an insight on how everything came to be, how I became a YouTuber and then a streamer and then essentially a content creator or an influencer, as the brands like to call us. I always hated that term, influencer. What? Not really influencing anything besides convincing people to play terrible comps in Hearthstone and TFT. Yeah. Hopefully some of you find this interesting. How I first got started was my brother. He's a big Blizzard fan. So when Hearthstone was announced, he was very excited because he was also a big Magic the Gathering fan, which is a card game. So when Blizzard announced they were making a card game, he was super psyched and he wanted to make a fan site for it. Me, myself, I'm not a big card game fan. By that, I mean I don't ever play card games beyond collecting Pokemon cards. I had a shiny Charizard. That was very, very cool. So he just did his thing, tried to make a fan site, got some traffic. Nothing big, but he would ask me if I could help him out by making content for it. And the idea that I came up with is making infographics. So what I did was I spent like 20 hours watching Hearthstone streamers and manually recording in an Excel spreadsheet the cards they would use and keep in their hand, and figuring out if they won or lost, like statistics, and presenting it in a very beautiful and easy to consume manner. And I remember like spending hours and hours on it and just mind-numbing scrubbing through VODs to get the info. And I posted it on Reddit, and the response was amazing. People, really liked the way it looked, liked the information, and that was it. I mean, with most Reddit posts, you post it, it's on the front page for a day, and it fades away. And that was kind of the end of it. But I just remember feeling like I did something, like I accomplished something, and it felt good because I like entertaining and I like attention. Maybe because I didn't get much in school, but I also hate social interaction, which makes it hard to get attention if if you're too shy and awkward to talk to people, because of insecurities and whatnot. So it was nice. It was nice. I kind of just let it go for a bit. But during the time, my dog that I got when I came to Canada, the first thing we got as a family was a dog, because we always wanted one and we couldn't own one back in Malaysia. So the first thing we did when we immigrated to Canada was to get a dog, and it was a Beagle Dalmatian by the name of Chewie, after Chewbacca from Star Wars. And during this time where I was making that infographic, Chewie was sick with the cancer. And if anyone ever had pets with cancer, you'll know that the plan with cats and dogs isn't to cure them, unlike with humans. Like with humans, you try to cure them, but with cats and dogs, it's like, yeah, let's just make their remaining time as comfortable as possible. And when you hear that term, it's like, as comfortable as possible. You know what they mean. And it's one of the most stressful things. I mean, this was for a pet. I can't imagine what it's like for like a relative. But every cough and the weekly visits was pretty nerve-wracking. And eventually he passed. I just remember lying in the bathtub. I do this thing where I would just lie in the bathtub and turn on the shower head and let it splash me. I find it very therapeutic. I just remember lying in my bathtub every day for hours. Just laying there. And I try to get myself out of that funk by remembering, what did I do that made me kind of happy, made me feel like I am making a difference. And it was the infographics that I posted to Reddit. So I made another, and then I made another, and I made another, and I just kept making it. And I would wake up at like 6 a.m. every day to post it because I did my research, and apparently that's the best time to post to Reddit. And I remember like working to 4 a.m. trying to get it just right, to get all the information needed. And I was starting to build a name for myself, and it was really exciting. And I called myself Disguised Toast after a running joke from the scene in Hearthstone. Disguised Toast. Sounds like disguised toast. That's where the name comes from. But eventually I realized I needed something more because you can't really make money off Reddit posts. And also the stuff you make just disappears after like a week unless people actively go search for it, which they don't do. So I started a YouTube channel and I would post about bugs in the game. I would post about the story and the lore behind every Hearthstone card. Real nerd shit. It's like, Sylvanas is the sister of Orisa Windrunner, whose sister is also Illyria Windrunner, and they're the Sylvanas sisters, the Windrunner sisters. Yeah, I'm a big Warcraft fan. But eventually, I knew I was going to run out of content. There's only so much cards to talk about. There's only so much bugs to talk about. And I remember looking at Hearthstone streamers and being jealous that they essentially have a source of infinite content because they have viewers that will watch them play the game. So as long as they just play the game, they'll always have content. And, I wish I could be like that, but I felt like I never could. And my sister-in-law at the time was like, wait, you can do that. You just talk and you play games. Anyone can do that, which is not that simple. I felt like my English wasn't that goodly. Also, I didn't show my face because I wasn't comfortable with it. I had this feeling that people would laugh at me, and I was terrified of my friends, like my real life friends, finding out. Because it seemed a little cringy. Oh, you're trying to be like an internet video gamer kind of deal. So I never showed my face. Even when I attended events, I would just make the Disguised Toast mask because Disguised Toast. It was a really perfect excuse for me not to have to show my face. So I tried streaming with just the camera pointing at the side with my mask there, and I get like 50 viewers not a lot. I would get 50 viewers, 100 on a good day, 200 on a really good day, which is okay, but not what I was looking for. So I would stream once a week. And then one day, while streaming, I accidentally kicked my webcam's cable connected to the PC, and I tugged on it, and it showed my face for 2 seconds, and I tried to cover it up, and I was like pointing back at the wall, laughed it off, and that was it. I think not too much viewers were watching, but if something happens on the internet, there's a record of it, and some guy recorded a video, waited 2 months for some reason, and then tried to expose me by making hundreds of accounts and posting it on Reddit. So I knew the jig was up, that people were going to catch on. So I decided to do an official face reveal that I was planning to do for this video, actually. I always wanted to do a face reveal for 1 million subscribers on YouTube, but life had other plans. So I did a face reveal on stream, and I think 5,000 people showed up to see what I looked like. And it was really exciting. I was really nervous. And the next day I had like 2,000 viewers, because once people saw what I looked like, they're like, okay, curiosity satisfied, peace. And it was fine, because I knew people were just curious. But I was really thankful that even 2,000 people stayed, and made me excited to stream. So I streamed every day for like the next 2 months, and every day that viewership will grow by a couple hundred, 2,000, 250, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000. And really soon I think I was averaging like 6,000 viewers, and every day was exciting. And the support from the viewers were so nice, and like people do copy past us saying like, oh, he didn't want to show his face because he didn't want the world falling in love with him. And it was very nice. And now when I think about times like that, when I look back on it, I wish I was that streamer again, that was so excitable, so cheerful and happy. Like, I would watch my old VODs, and I would always have a smile. Even if it's like an 8-hour stream, every single day, it was like non-stop smiling. And I wish I was that person still. But over the years, I think I've been doing this for 4 years now. I guess I got a little bit jaded, a little bitter over things that happen. I remember there was this one post on the Hearthstone subreddit, and it got upvoted to like 3,000 upvotes of someone saying, I'm tired of seeing this guy's toast clips on the subreddit. And I understood the sentiment, because people were posting a lot of clips of me on there. And I get it. But in the future, anytime someone would try and post this guy's toast clip, it would just automatically be downvoted by a lot of people. Like, it kind of just shifted the other way. And comments would be like, I see toast, I downvote. And people would like support that sentiment. And I always thought I had to do something wrong for people to, I guess, not like me. And I felt like I never did anything wrong. And it made me feel bad. Maybe I'm a sensitive snowflake, as some would say. But the subreddit is where I started my career, right? And to see like this growing mindset that, it's cool to not like this guy's Toast because he's popular. People talk about him too much. Made me a little bitter. The other thing that made me really jaded was when I was, really into Hearthstone. I was working with Blizzard a lot, and it was always kind of tenuous because I would talk about bugs, and I tried to help out because I would message Blizzard about bugs I would encounter, and I would give them instructions on how to reproduce them. And there was even moments where Blizzard contacted me directly after they saw me do a bug. It's like, hey, Toast, would you mind like sending us an email detailing exactly how to do this so our team can fix it? And I would tell them like bad interactions and all that. And, they always seemed pretty thankful for it. The problem came when I was testing an exploit on stream against myself. It was my account playing against my account, where if done, you can make your opponent disconnect and get a free win. Obviously, very abusable. But you could only do this on the WoW ladder, which is the least popular game mode. But it was still an exploit. I didn't know it was going to work, so I tested it. I spent 2 hours to like figure out all the conditions required to make it happen. And Blizzard banned me, which was justified because essentially I was giving people a way to exploit for a free win. So they called me up and I talked to them and they explained the situation. And at the end of the call, I asked them, is it okay if I talk about everything you told me on this call, which is essentially the ban, the reason, the conditions, the length of it? And they said, yeah, go ahead. Totally fine. So I made a video talking about why I was banned. In the video, I also sided with Blizzard saying like it was a justified ban. It just makes me uncomfortable because as someone who works with Blizzard and who has helped out Blizzard privately in the past, it kind of makes it difficult. Like if I don't talk about bugs, they like me more. But if I do talk about bugs, they won't like me as much. And it puts me in a really weird position of who to listen to. And I thought that was the end of it. Next season of Hearthstone comes along. And they invite me to come out to California. I was living in Canada to check out the new Hearthstone cards. And I was super excited. They told me a date. I was like, yeah, hell yeah. It wasn't the first time, so it's like, hey, you want to do this again? You've done it with us before. And I was really excited. But the weeks leading up to my flight date, I'm like, hey, is this still going on? I would be messaging my contact at Blizzard. Hey, just checking. Are we all set? No reply. All right. They're probably busy. Give it a couple of days. Hey, just checking up on this. No reply. Oh, maybe this person's on vacation. I message their coworker, and then I message the 2 higher ups, in the community team. No reply, no reply, no reply, no reply. And it's literally the day before the event, and I messaged them. It's like, hey, what's going on? Nothing. They ghosted me. And I just felt so excluded. It wasn't much later that I found out the reason why they didn't follow up was because it was punishment for that video I made talking about the ban. And the thing that sucked the most was I would hear from some of my acquaintances, like people I knew on the Hearthstone team, and they were like, "Yeah, Toast, what you did was not cool. You were acting like really unreasonable talking publicly about something like that. And it just dawned on me that there was they didn't understand the full picture of it, that I explicitly asked for permission to talk about it. And it turns out just some people on the team didn't really like me on the Hearthstone team. And before everyone gets their pitchforks out, everyone I knew on the Hearthstone community team doesn't work there anymore. It was like 80%, like 90% of them were really chill, but I knew like there was 10% of the team that didn't really like me. And it was fine, but the whole ignoring all my messages and ghosting me kind of stuff, making me think that, I was flying to California without even a courtesy. Oh, sorry, it's not happening. That made my relationship with Blizzard terrible. Absolutely terrible. So if you ever wonder why I like the way I talk about Blizzard is so scathing sometimes, that's the reason. And it's just stuff like that throughout the last 5 years that made me just more grizzled, more of a boomer, as opposed to the happy-go-lucky guy I once was. But I think in every job that would happen. The longer you work at it, the more jaded you become. But I miss the old me. And I want most of you to understand, like, even the ones that maybe don't follow me as much anymore. Because I see comments saying, oh, I miss old Toast. New Toast is so different, so egotistical. And I agree that I changed a lot. But I felt like I had to. I felt like if I tried to be that happy guy all the time, it would be disingenuous. And comments like, "Oh, Toast is an asshole now. He was just pretending to be nice. He used us. He was secretly a dick the entire time." It's not true, Maybe I'm an asshole now, but I really wasn't back then. I wasn't trying to mislead people or to portray myself as someone who is a positive guy, because I feel like I was a positive guy. But I still am. I like to think, just not in the way you'd expect. Yeah. On a happier note, TwitchCon 17 then happened. And Twitch themselves directly invited me. They're like, hey, Toast, you're killing it. You want to come down to TwitchCon, cover your flight, get you a hotel. You can meet some Twitch streamers, meet the fans, do a meet and greet. And I'm like, yeah, I'm blowing up. This is amazing. Twitch is inviting me to their convention. I never thought I would actually go. So I said yes. I went to TwitchCon, did a bunch of, meet and greets, met a bunch of fans. And I knew this guy, Chris, who was living with Scara and Pokimane and Lily Pichu. And he said, hey, Toast, we're starting this thing called Offline TV. We're a content streamer group, and we focus on making videos of gamers outside gaming. Okay. Great idea. Sure. Cool. Good luck with that. And he asked me if I want to stay over after TwitchCon just for a couple of weeks. Just see what California is like. Spend some time. Meet some new friends. And I said, sure. And then the second day I was staying over, Chris comes over and is like, hey, by the way, we're filming your introduction video on joining Offline TV. So, get ready. What's that now? Now, as you might know, I'm really bad at social interaction. So I didn't want to be awkward and say no. All right. Oh, okay. I'll be right downstairs. So that's how I got debated into joining the Streamer House offline TV. And I am glad I got tricked into it because I end up meeting some really cool people. Whenever I talk about things involving emotions, I tend to cry. It's not because it's a sensitive or emotional topic, it's just that it's something I don't do. So my body and my brain's like, what the fuck is this? Huh? What is this? Seems like you're in stress. Do you want me to cry? Um, so yeah, I'm glad I did because I met some really, really cool people in the house. And also, um, another crazy thing happened that I didn't even realize it was that big of a deal when I was doing it. It was called the harem era. So for like a few months on Twitch, the biggest storyline going was, is this guy's toast gonna get a girlfriend? He has 4 girls that he knows. And the thing is, like, when it was happening, I just thought it was all a big joke, right? Because realistic in real life, people don't have a harem. So, like, it was all just a joke to us, like me and the 4 girls involved in it. Pokey, Lily, Janet, and Kimmy. We're just kind of like, you know what? People like to watch. It's fun. No one's taking it too serious. We weren't taking it serious, but the hundreds of thousands of people, I checked the stats, like hundreds of thousands of people were showing up every day to watch my stream just for the chance at progress with one of these girls. And it was crazy. But that's how I eventually got into my first serious relationship with Janet. And I remember having to go over to her place like one night to have a private conversation with her because up until then, we had 4 interactions. And each of those was streamed, was content, right? So I actually never talked to her like a normal human being. And I just went over and I asked, hey, is this too overwhelming? Are you okay with it? Just to make sure that she felt safe and okay with everything. And later on, Pokey, I had a conversation with Pokey in her room. It was like really dark because I wasn't comfortable talking about what I wanted to talk about. But she told me, oh yeah, even though it's a meme for all of us, is it a meme for you? Because it's not a meme for Janet. And, that's how I caught the feelings. We were together for 2 years, and ultimately things didn't work out, but I'm very thankful for her because, after your first serious relationship, you learn a lot about yourself and about how a relationship works instead of what you learn from watching Disney movies. It's not all cotton candy, rainbows, and lollipops. It's hard work. I wrote down what else to talk about. So the next phase of my life was Teamfight Tactics. I would say it's a big moment because that's where So Hearthstone gave me a boost. Mask Off gave me a boost. Offline TV gave me a boost. And that was just sitting kind of in purgatory for a while. You know, I say purgatory, but it was like I averaged 8,000 viewers, which is not purgatory. It's good, but it was just like 8,000 every day kind of deal. And then Teamfight Tactics came along. And Teamfight Tactics is interesting because I wasn't part of the group of streamers that were invited for beta. It was Trump, Crip, Skara, Dog, and Hafu from North America. And they didn't invite me. And I only knew about it because Skara was talking about it. And then when I heard, I'm like, wait, I kind of like auto chess, you know. I played it, not as much as some of these guys, but also more than some of these guys that were invited. So I was trying to get as much info as I can from Skara. And Skara's like, yeah, man, it's super fun. I was so excited. I was kicking ass in the closed door, you know, test at the Riot headquarters. I was really jealous. And, you know, Skara was really nice about it. He gave me, like, any information he had, right? But I wanted to play, right? So I would message the community manager from Riot. Her name is Zephyr, and I would message her. It's like, hey, you know, I started off casual. It was like, hey Zephyr, you know, I'm not sure if you know, but you know, I play auto chess every now and then. And she's like, oh, cool. You know, we don't see you streaming it that often. We see you stream Hearthstone more often. And you know, I was like, yeah, but I like it. It's a fun game. I like it. And she's like, oh, you know, cool. All right. She didn't really pick up on how much I wanted to be in it. So the next day, I'm like, hey, Zephyr, you know, you got a lot of Hearthstone people testing out the strategy game. You probably could use more strategy gamers, you know, maybe I could try it out. And, you know, she was a little hesitant, not because she didn't want me in, but because it's a whole process. It's not as simple as, oh, you can play. So I just kept bugging her. And eventually she went to all the necessary contacts at Riot and like talked to so many people. And on the very last moment, she got me into the program to test the game out. And I'm so thankful for her. Zephyr, if you're watching, you saved my career. They should give you a raise. Because I became the #1 TFT streamer on Twitch. And this was when TFT was blowing the hell up when it was first dropped, where like I was hitting like 20,000 viewers. I hit 30,000 viewers playing in a tournament. And I knew this would happen. I knew this would happen if I was able to get, you know, the same start as all the other content creators. Because when it comes to strategy games, I'm fucking entertaining. And you might think, Toast, wow, that is some egotistical, head up your ass statement to make. But there's a difference between being humble and just knowing your worth. And I knew when it came to strategy games, like thinking card games, no one is as entertaining. I can't speak English as me. And TFT, you know, it had strategy games and it had League of Legends gamers. I also knew I can beat all the League of Legends streamers at TFT because I'm better than them at strategy games. I swear I don't have a big ego. I just know my strengths. So I became the biggest TFT streamer, which then allowed me to hit 1 million followers on Twitch, and it allowed me to hit 1 million followers subscribers on YouTube, because part of the reason why a lot of extra subscribers are happening is because I've only been uploading TFT content for the past half year, Teamfight Tactics. So thank you to TFT for helping me reach this milestone. And a few, like 3 months after TFT came out, kind of dies down. I was still averaging 12,000 viewers, like day in, day out. I started to take a look at my lifestyle, which is just wake up, stream 8 hours of TFT, chill after because I'm too tired, and go to bed, day in and day out. And I thought to myself, it's like, yeah, I can do this for years to come. I can, maybe someday I'll have a good day, I'll have 13,000 viewers. Some days I'll have bad days, 11,000 viewers. But I'll have to constantly stay on my grind, because if I take extended breaks, then maybe another streamer gets popular. And that's why I realized it's like, I like the initial competition, the initial gold rush of a new game where you're competing for viewers. But I did not like the grind to play 1 or 2 games, the same game every single day at the same time for designated hours for years and years and years. When I thought about that future, I didn't want to do it anymore. It's like, so I just took longer and longer breaks. I would stream 3 times a week or 2 times a week. So I was really on and off. And eventually an offer came through. Well, many offers came through from every streaming platform. Because my Twitch contract was up and I was on the market. I was a sexy girl at the club where all the boys were eyeing me. And I believe I received an offer from every major streaming platform. Ended up going with Facebook because I felt like there was more of an Asian audience there. And just being able to start over and to play the games I want and not have to cater to a viewership number. I was like, oh, I got to play this game because it's the hottest game. It's like, I got to stream at this time because that's the best time. And ultimately, financial security and financial freedom is really nice to have. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Gaming, streaming is a very volatile lifestyle. I want you guys to try and think of a streamer that you don't watch anymore, or a streamer that you used to watch and you're like, I wonder what happened to them. You'll find that there's a lot of YouTubers and streamers whose channels are still going, but their audience has shrunk to about 10% of what it used to be. And it happens to so many. And you're like, wow, whatever happened to X, Y, and Z? It's like, why aren't they popular anymore? And it's like, maybe they took a break. Maybe they had, some bad PR. Or maybe they just got replaced by a better streamer. Or the game they're playing just wasn't popular anymore, right? And it happens to so many of them, and they can't adapt, or they didn't plan out their future, or they rested on their laurels thinking, oh, this is going to pay my bills for the rest of my life. And it's just not true. You constantly just have to be on your toes for this stuff. I talk about money a lot, to a point where I made a video. Check it out if you haven't, where I talk about exactly how Twitch streamers make money, and I break down how much they get paid. And it was one of the videos I'm most proud about, since it has 1 million views, and it's pretty. I'm proud of that video. I'm glad I made that video. And I try and be transparent with money, and like I also try and tell people to not donate money to me or subscribe to me because I'm very comfortable with my financials, but I don't know how comfortable you are with your financials. You might be an oil prince, you might be Elon Musk, or you might be a university student struggling, but you want to support me because you think for some reason I need money. And that's why I try and like flex. I don't really flex. I don't own anything too shiny. But I always tell you guys like I'm good. I'm good. It's not to flex. It's to tell you guys just like you don't have to give me your money. I remember receiving an email from this kid in Russia saying, "Hey Toast, it's really hard over here. I'm struggling to find a job. I'm living with my wife living with me. Could you refund that donation I made to you 2 years ago?" And I just remember it's like things have gone so desperate for this guy that he needs to go back 2 years to ask for that money back. And I checked his email because like, hey, this is some because his story was so like sad, and I was like, I want to give him his money back, but I also don't want it to be a scam. So I checked his email, and lo and behold, this motherfucker donated $200 to me just to say a nice thing. He sent me a really nice message that was attached to the donation. So obviously I refunded that instantly, and I think that was the event that kind of resonated with me, that made me so hesitant to take my viewers' money. Because when you donate to big streamers, they're going to be like, hey, thanks. Welcome to the family. Appreciate it. And these guys are like millionaires. And there's nothing wrong with accepting donations. I don't want to like put a negative stigma. It's just maybe to the streamers who act like they need it. But I wasn't comfortable with it. So decided to go to Facebook. They offered me $20K to make a coming out video, announcement video for Facebook, like most streamers did. And if you guys know me, I am pragmatic, smart, and also lazy. So I figured, why not just donate all this money to the children's hospital? Because then I don't have to like go out and hire some fancy editor and fancy photographer and like have a prop, have a script. It's like money for the kids, as they say. But I also did it because of good PR, because it makes me look good. And I don't want people to think I am this saint, this role model, this Mr. Rogers type that is going out on the streets throwing my money at sick kids because I'm a kind person. I did it because it's a good story. The kids get money and I look good, and maybe that makes some of you lose respect for me. It's like, oh, Toast, I thought you were just a generous feller. I'm a nice guy. But when you're a content creator, you take these things into account. So I don't know if I would have given it to charity if I didn't get to say I gave it to charity, if that makes sense. So yeah. But I'm pretty happy on Facebook right now, getting to play what I want, when I want, without any pressure. It's really relaxing, and I'm having a good time. And yeah, that's good. I'm going to California soon. Right now I'm in Canada visiting family, and I'm gonna bring my mom with me. And I bought her first class tickets because I want to, now that I came into some extra ching here and there throughout my 4 years of streaming and YouTubing, I want my family's life to be as comfortable as possible. We recently bought a house because we always lived in an apartment throughout our entire lives. When we first moved to Canada, the Canadian government categorized us as living in poverty. And growing up, I never really felt that way. It wasn't until I think grade 10 that I found out. But I never felt poor because my mom would work very hard to make sure we don't feel that way. She would buy groceries when it's only on sale, and she would always try and figure out a way to make the food taste great. I remember it was also stressful for her because I would take these, Asian cooking to the school, and I remember one kid going "Ooh, what is that? What's that smell?" And stuff like that really sucks. And now, sometimes they'll try and they're like, "Oh shit, this is good," but it made my mom a little insecure, so she started packing us, bread with bologna and cheese and ketchup. That was pretty good too, but we could never afford to eat at the cafeteria. So now that I have some money, I bought my family a house. I get to fly my mom first class for the first time. And that's why I guess I have this, fixation on money, because I don't want it ever being a problem for people I care about. That's why I say I want to be a billionaire. It's not because I want to do something with $1 billion. It's just $1 billion makes me feel like I can solve a lot of problems for the people I care about. And as a billionaire, I will be sure to pay my taxes. I know. I feel like being a billionaire obligates you to some responsibility. Let's not get into socialism. I'm not educated. So yeah, that's everything. It pretty much covers all the major points of my streaming career right now. I probably content creator career. I don't know what to call myself at this point. Streamer, YouTuber, content creator. I'm just a guy. I'm really just some guy who likes to play games. But I want to thank you all I hope you enjoyed this little look into my life. Was kind of long, 15 minutes, not bad. I want to say thank you to anyone who's ever watched a YouTube video of mine, a stream of mine, who ever liked one of my tweets, who, checked out my Instagram.com/disguised toast. I don't post a lot, but I hear that's where all the cool people are. I don't know what 2020 will hold, but I'm excited. And I hope you guys will stay with me for when I hit 10 million subscribers 50 years from now. Bye.